Hello guys and welcome to Stevie C TV. This is Game Week 11 weekend review. That's the Premier League review, and we have got some entertaining games that we've had this weekend. We had the games like Man United, which ended with a last minute winner. Then we've also got the Chelsea Spurs games and the Newcastle Arsenal game. So plenty to talk about. First game was Man United and Fulham at Craven Cottage. United have finally scored, and it's come from our captain Bruno Fernandes in the 91st minute. And what a finish it was. He pulled it. Palestri pressed. When he came on the pitch, by the way, he changed the game massively. The press that he puts on players in the defence caused Fulham to make about 5-6 mistakes. And then that led to Bruno getting a chance, faked a shot on his left foot, then put it onto his right and then just pinged it into the bottom right-hand corner. Keeper couldn't get enough on it and made it 1-0, and United get the 3 points. Fulham deserved a lot more, but the 3 points is United's, and that's what all that matters in this game is the 3 points. United put the ball in the back of the net, whereas Fulham couldn't do that. That's down to Maguire and Onana both having amazing games. Probably both man of the match, in my opinion. Bruno did get the man of the match award, but in my opinion, I think Maguire and Onana did a lot better on the pitch in the whole game. So, like I say, 1-0 Man United. I went for a draw this game. I was very doubtful for United to win, but we got the win, and that's a big 3 points for Man United. Next up, we've got Brentford versus West Ham. That finished 3-2 to Brentford. I said a Brentford win, and that is exactly what happened. It was a 5-goal thriller. Neil Maupay started with getting the first goal and finally getting on the score sheet for Brentford. And then West Ham just started to switch it on once they conceded. Kudus got the equaliser, and then Jared Bowen went on in like 22nd minute or so. He ended up going getting the second for West Ham. West Ham start to lead 2-1. And then it went for the second half with an own goal from Mavropanis, who then got Brentford back in the game, which made it 2-2. And then Nathan Collins in the 69th minute goes and gets a header and gets his first goal for Brentford. And he's going to remember that one for a long, long time because it was a game-winning header, and he then gave Brentford the big 3 points. West Ham are starting to struggle now. We're starting to see him slowly drifting back down the table. Probably where they belong in the middle. Can't see him getting relegated or anything like that. There's no pressure on them. But the international games, European games, are starting to take its toll, I think. And it's having its effect on West Ham. And they're starting to drop some points, and crucial points, coming up to the Christmas period. Next up, we've got Burnley versus Palace, and that finished 2-0 to Palace. I went for a 0-0 draw there. I didn't think either team had enough up front, but Palace managed to do the job. Jeffrey Schlupp up and opened up the scoring for Crystal Palace, and then Tyreek Mitchell finished it off for Burnley, made it 2-0 to Palace. And Burnley are really struggling now, and it might be straight back down to the Championship for them. Company doesn't seem to be able to get them to get the ball in the back of the net. They look okay going forward, but that final third is just not getting the finish for them, and I can see them going down. I know I say this every week, but they're really struggling, and they might even be the bottom team with other results this weekend, so you never know, but I reckon Burnley are going down. Next up, we've got Everton versus Brighton, and that finished 1-1. I thought that Brighton were going to win this game, and Evan Ferguson was going to go and get a winner, making it 2-1 for him, but they didn't. Everton started off really well. Mikalenko got the early goal within the 7th minute, and then Brighton just switched themselves on, dominated the game, absolutely dominated the game, and then Dunk managed to get an equaliser from a gross free kick, and Gross whipped the ball in and then Dunk got on the end of it. However, it was ruled offside by VAR, and I think it was the right decision this time. Obviously, we question VAR quite a lot, and we do a lot this weekend, but I think it's the right decision. And like I say, Brighton had all the ball in that game. It was 1-0 half-time, but Brighton finally break down Everton, and Ashley Young was the player with the own goal. It is, however, a big point for Everton, and they deserve the point because they held on for dear life. Only for the last 5 minutes for him to go and concede that own goal. He was very unlucky, but Brighton deserved the point. Brighton did enough in the game to basically win, but they just couldn't get the finishing touch, and they still can't keep a clean sheet. So it'd be nice to see where they finish at the end of the season, but they really are struggling at the back and struggling to keep that clean sheet. They might be scoring goals, but they need to get a bit solid at the back and hopefully change up their fortunes and start climbing up the table like they did last season. Next game is Manchester City versus Bournemouth, and that finished 6-1. What I'm going to call the Jeremy Doku show. From minute one, Jeremy Doku was all over Bournemouth. He ended up getting the first goal. He then set up 4 goals for City, and it was the 4 next goals, which Bernardo Silva got his first. They got the second goal, assisted by Doku. Then Doku did take a shot for his third, but it deflected off Akanji, and it was given to Akanji as an Akanji goal. Then Phil Foden made it 4-0, and I believe this was all within the first half of the game. But Sinisteri manages to get one back for Bournemouth, and Doku then just completely finishes off the game and gets Bernardo Silva his second goal, and that's the 5th goal involvement for Doku, which is why I call it the Doku show. Haaland wasn't even involved really much in the game. He came off at half-time, picked up a bit of a knock. He looks like he might be a bit of an issue going into the next game. I reckon he might be there next week, but Champions League today, I don't think he'll play that game for definite. To finish it off though, City did get the 6th goal with Nathan Ake, and that now puts them top of the league. And with other results going in their favour, it keeps them there, even though it kept them there for the night. I did say it will be a City win, and it would put them top of the league, but I didn't think other results, which I'm about to mention, would keep them there. So, well done City, and they are now top of the league. Next game is Sheffield United versus Wolves, and this ended with a lot of drama. I said Wolves would win this 2-0. And Hwang Hee-chan would get on the score sheet. However, Sheffield United won this in the 100th minute 2-1. And albeit a penalty in the 100th minute. Sheffield United opened the scoring, so they did go on and start off very well. Got a few chances with Archer, and then Archer did finally score. And with a cracking shot from outside the box, hits the crossbar and smashes it on into the net. Wonderful finish. And then we had Belgrade, I think it's Belgrade. He then got the 89th minute equaliser for Wolves, which you'd think Wolves would have then got the 1 point. Well deserved, both equal on the night, during the game. And then Fabio Silva gives away a penalty, and the VAR was tested with this one. And I think it was very, very stupid by Fabio Silva. I don't think he's done it maliciously, but he's gone into 2 challenges, missed the first one, and then the second one catches the player's foot, and the penalty was given by VAR. I can see it being given either way, but it was given as a penalty, and Norwood put the ball in the back of the net to make it 2-1, and Sheffield United finally get their first win in the league, and puts a lot more pressure on the other teams down there now, such as Luton, Burnley, Bournemouth. They are all struggling, but Sheffield United have finally got those 3 points, and it's going to be a tough end towards the season. Even though we're only 10 games in, 11 games in, it is going to end with a tough last 3-4 games, deciding who's going to get relegated. Next up is Newcastle versus Arsenal. This finished 1-0 to Newcastle. I expected Arsenal to go on and win this. However, there's only one thing I can talk about here, and that is the ball out of play before the goal gets scored? And personally, I think it was still in play. VAR will give a bit of an optical illusion. The ball, because of the shape of the ball, it looks like it's off. United have had this already earlier on in the season against Arsenal, where the ball was given out of play, but United fans all appealed it, never got it. But this time the ball looked out of play, but it was actually just slightly on the line. The whole ball never went over the line. It was proven after the game that it didn't go over, but Arsenal are going protesting this. Arteta is not happy with it. But it led to Anthony Gordon going and getting a goal for Newcastle, and Arsenal's unbeaten streak is now over. As I mentioned, it leaves City on top, and Arsenal now fighting to get back into the first place, whereas like last season, they controlled most of the season, but this season it looks like they're going to have to fight for it this year. The next game is Nottingham Forest versus Aston Villa. I said 2-0 to Villa in this game. However, Nottingham Forest defied the odds and they won 2-0 against Villa. So, like I say, they surprised everybody with this win. Everyone were expecting Villa to do very, very well in this game. They opened the scoring within the first 5 minutes with Aina getting the goal, and then Martinez, the goalkeeper for Aston Villa, made a massive mistake, which led to Mangala getting the second goal, and they held on for a clean sheet for the rest of the game, and Forest get 3 big points, and it's 3 points dropped for Aston Villa. They currently sit 5th still. They did going into the game, but these are the games that they need to get these crucial points, especially if they want to fight for the European places this season. They're doing a lot better than everybody thought. But games like this are the ones that everyone expects you to win, and if you don't win those games, then you're going to struggle for the rest of the season, and the confidence is going to be knocked here, especially when Nottingham Forest are now sitting quite comfortably in the middle of the table. I think they're around 12th, 13th. So going into this, like I said, everyone expected Villa to win, but they actually lost this game. So, big 3 points dropped. We have Luton versus Liverpool. I said Liverpool to win this game 4-0. However, it ended 1-1. Luton ended up getting a goal first as well, and that was in the 80th minute. So, Luton had 8 shots in the whole game, and Liverpool had 24. But in the 80th minute, Liverpool get a corner. They take the corner, and Luton get the ball out, and Ross Barkley drives it forward for Chong to go and get on the other end and nicely put the ball into the net, making it 1-0 to Luton. Obviously, as a United fan, it's nice to see players like Chong getting on the score sheet. He's obviously come through the United rankings. It just wasn't good enough for United, and it's nice to see him get a goal, especially against the teams like Liverpool, who obviously are rivals towards United, so it's quite nice to see. But Liverpool wanted a handball there before the counter-attack, but it wasn't given, and I don't think there was a handball in it at all, and it was the right decision made. Later on in the game, though, in the 95th minute, there was 9 minutes added on. Luis Diaz, of all the players you didn't expect to score today, in that game, was Luis Diaz. And he ruined the party for Luton, and he got the equaliser. Obviously, I say ruined the party. Luton actually celebrated this as if they won the game, because it's a big point for Luton. especially if you're getting these kind of points against the top 5-6 teams in the league, then you're putting yourself in a good position for the end of the season. So well done to Luton there, and Liverpool get away with a point there. It's the last game now, and what a game it was for a neutral fan. Spurs versus Chelsea. I said Spurs to win this 1-0. How wrong was I? It finished 4-1 Chelsea, and that flatters Chelsea. That says everything. That flatters them. Chelsea were not good enough in this game, but they managed to pull it off. Spurs started off very, very well. The whole game had everything in it. But like I say, Spurs started off well, and Kulusevski gets on the score sheet. I think it's around the 7th minute, making it 1-0 to Spurs. Looked like Spurs were going to go on and get a few goals. This game actually had 5 goals disallowed and 9 VAR checks. So we had 2 red cards as well. So the 2 red cards came late. It should have come earlier. Udogie ended up going with 2-footed tackle on one of the Chelsea players and survived that, just getting a yellow, when he should have definitely got taken straight off the pitch. Later on, Romero, within like the next 10 minutes of that, goes and kicks out after a tackle. Again, stupid. Should have been a red. Didn't get a red. Later in the game, Chelsea go and get a penalty, which Romero did a vicious tackle, which caused them to get a red. He finally got the red card, and it then made them play with 10 men, and Cole Palmer put the ball in the back of the net on the penalty, even though Vicario did go the right way. This actually ended up 1-1 at half time, 10 men, but then Udogie goes and gets a second yellow, second red for Spurs, which then led to the downfall of Spurs, really. They put up a big fight, as if they were going to go on and win the game, but Nick Jackson ends up getting 3 goals, so he got his hat-trick, for his first ever hat-trick for Chelsea, and he'll give him a massive boost going into the rest of the season, because he's finally got on the score sheet properly, and getting that hat-trick was undeserved, really, but for Chelsea, but for him, he was in the right place at the right time every single time, and he finished off Spurs for the 9 men that they had. There was a few chances which were given offside from Sterling and Jackson again, but those were the right decisions. All the decisions made by VAR were the right decisions, apart from the red cards early on in the game. So VAR was tested, but they made majority of the decisions right. So you can't complain about that. Like I say, as a neutral fan, it was brilliant to watch, and even if it was stop-start, you really enjoyed it. However, Spurs did pick up a couple of injuries in this game as well. Van der Ven got a hamstring injury, and Maddison got an ankle injury. So if anybody's got any of these players in their fantasy team, it could be a big swap out over the week, especially seeing as though Spurs will now start to struggle. So I think with a couple of those red cards and the couple of injuries, they will start to drift off. It has now ended their unbeaten streak, and like I said before, City are now top of the league, and I'm going to end the video like that. Like the video, guys, please subscribe, and Manchester City are top of the league.